Now on Fox 13 News at 9, parents push back.
School closures not only affect the students, they affect our communities permanently.
Parents are suing the Alpine School District for moving too quickly with closing 5 elementary schools here in the district.
Plus, another Utah school district gets approval for a big change, where students will have a 4-day school week.
Another storm is blowing in tonight. What to expect for your morning drive, and also how storms could impact your weekend plans.
State geologists worry Utah could see more landslides as the snowpack melts.
A lot of the landslides are not what people think. They're not things that bump down the hill in a big giant mass.
What one neighborhood says about the slide that changed everything for them.
Are we alone in the universe? Why lawmakers held a hearing to discuss UFO phenomenon. And the budget for the Pentagon's UFO office, some say, is dangerously small.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Bob Evans.
And I'm Kelly Chapman. Controversy over school closures heated up today, just a day after the Alpine School District voted to move forward with the study to close 5 elementary schools.
Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gubi spoke to upset parents who plan to file a lawsuit saying the process feels too rushed.
I just feel so disheartened and frustrated and discouraged.
That's how many parents with the Alpine School District feel.
How all of our parents are on the same page, and then to have them still vote for closures in 2023 is so disheartening.
On February 28th, the school district started looking at possibly closing 5 elementary schools. This is Valley View Elementary that could be closed by the end of the school year. Now, parents tell me that if the school does close, they're worried about where their kids are going to go next year, how they're going to get there with transportation concerns, and whether the school will have enough staff to handle an influx of kids.
We don't know what that will look like for us. You know, it's so valuable to us to have our kids be able to walk to school. And I'm fighting to make that possible, even if we can only buy ourselves one more year.
The district then began.
On Tuesday, the board voted to continue the studies to close Sharon and Valley View this year and extend plans looking into the closure of Lehigh, Linden, and Windsor to the end of the next school year. Parents say the process has been rushed and unfair, so they're planning to sue the district.
We needed them to terminate the processes that they had started in such a haphazard and illegal fashion with their vote that happened on the 28th and then their process for public input that started the next day, which is the exact opposite of what was supposed to happen.
In a statement from the school district today, they reiterated their plans, also saying they received over 1,400 comments online and numerous people speaking at board meetings and open houses. Board members say they are grateful for the public's input in this process.
I want to assure you that what you say to us is being heard. We are reading, we are listening, we are noting, we are discussing, we are revising. We are here to hear you.
But parents tell me they don't feel heard.
Last night at the board meeting, after 3 hours of public comment, they had 0 comments back to the public that was there expressing their concerns. We had 0 comments back from them about what this might look like going forward. They just moved straight to a vote.
The district says people can still give feedback on their boundary change portal on their website or at board meetings. In Pleasant Grove, I am Maithili Gubi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
We have an update on the upcoming 2023-24 school year for Paiute School District. The request to move to a 4-day school week has been granted. Superintendent Kobe Willis made the pitch last November, saying he hopes the schedule will lower student absences and create more time for work and internships. A man was arrested last night after leading police on a chase from Spanish Fork to Taylorsville.
It all started yesterday afternoon in Payson when police say a woman reported her ex-boyfriend, 40-year-old Gary Tyler Simpson, came to her home violating a protective order and threatened to kill her. Payson police say Simpson approached her again in Spanish Fork at 8:30 last night, chased her with his car, tried to ram her vehicle and box her in. When officers arrived, they say Simpson took off. A police helicopter tracked him as he fled north on I-15 at speeds of up to 100 miles an hour. In Taylorsville, he got out of his car, he ran, However, Taylorsville police caught up with him at about 9:30 last night.
If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, free support is available 24/7. Just call 1-800-897-LINK, 1-800-897-5465. You can also find resources from the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition at udvc.org.
In southern Utah, a former Olympic skier was found dead inside a Cedar City jail earlier today. The Critical Incident Task Force says 52-year-old Jeremy Nobis was found alone and unresponsive inside his cell at the Iron Correctional Facility. They did life-saving measures, but he was pronounced dead at the facility. Nobis competed in the 1994 Winter Olympics. He served time in prison for a DUI case back in 2019. He later failed to appear in court in 2021. He was taken into custody and imprisoned in February. No foul play is suspected, but the incident is now under investigation.
As the weather warms up and we continue to endure what seems to be endless road construction, UDOT is reminding all of us to use caution in work zones. Last year, there were nearly 1,300 work zone-related crashes. 11 of them were fatal. One spokesperson says working on a busy highway can be a harrowing experience.
I think the motoring public really can't imagine what it's like to be separated from traffic that's going 50 to 80 to 90 miles an hour by just an orange barrel. It's pretty scary, actually, to recognize that these are human beings out doing this work to make traffic and the flow of traffic better for everybody.
UDOT says there will be 217 active construction projects around the state this year.
Let us take you back to yesterday. Some of that precipitation we saw Tuesday led to a lot of people's cars and trucks getting dirty from the so-called mud rain. We visited the Quick Quack Car Wash in Midvale, where we saw dozens of drivers in line just waiting to get their vehicles clean, trying to get all that mud rain off. A spokesperson for Quick Quack estimated that at the Midvale location alone, they would be cleaning, get this, 1,400 cars today.
We're really excited to take care of our customers and help them take care of their cars, because some of them can't even see out their windshield. So they come in 3 minutes through the wash and we get them out and sparkling again.
It's all it takes, a 3-minute car wash to get you back on the roads. This is a time lapse here that our Fox 13 News photojournalists driving through the car wash experienced today. Even our news vehicles got quite dirty.
Yes,
of course they did. In real time, it only took about 3 minutes, just like Quick Quack promised. Although if you look ahead to the forecast, people who got their cars washed today, well, you maybe should have waited until later this week after some upcoming storms pass through. That's a little teaser. So when will the rain get here?
Well, is there anything to the notion that washing your car actually makes it rain?
Some people think that, but you want to know what's so interesting about these dust storms when that gets picked up in the lower atmosphere and then it is carried down on those raindrops, and then once the rain evaporates, we're left with that just dusty sheen on our cars. It can actually travel for states. It can travel lots, thousands and thousands of miles sometimes. But for us, what we saw yesterday, that was picked up out the Salt Flats and also in the West Desert, and ended up with a lot of messy cars on the roads today. Maybe you'll hit that sweet spot though and be able to go back, because a lot of those places have like rain promises. If it rains within 24 or 48 hours, you can go back. So might want to check your receipt. 43 here in Salt Lake, 43 for Ogden, 40 in Provo. It's going to be chilly tonight. We're really going to be tracking some very cold temperatures and sensitive vegetation into eastern Utah this evening. Temperatures in Salt Lake in the 30s through the night. Chances for snow primarily late this evening, early tomorrow morning. We're going to see those starting to go up. For Salt Lake, we're the red line. Widely scattered to scattered snow chances throughout the morning drive. Ogden, your peak will likely be around 3 to 6 a.m. We'll talk more about what to expect with our incoming storm and actually a series of storms in the forecast.
Some members of Congress say the recent classified documents leak shows serious problems with the nation's security protocol. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll have that story coming up.
A lot of things that we've had this year with the snow are uncommon.
A Utah man found dead after a roof avalanche near Brighton. Tonight, what police are revealing.
How geologists work to see if the land your home is on is at risk for a landslide.
As long as conditions allow and as long as we can get the debris out of here, we'll be working.
And with the sun shining over the Wasatch Front, we'll take a closer look at the flood prevention efforts going on in Salt Lake City.
This was day 7 of the Lori Vallow Daybell murder trial in Idaho, and we've now learned that a key player in this case will not testify.
Court TV correspondent Chanley Painter breaks down the big takeaways from the Ada County Courthouse in Boise.
That's right. According to Lori Vallow Daybell's defense attorneys, her husband, Chad Daybell, will not take the witness stand during her trial. As you may recall, Chad Daybell's trial was severed from Lori's back in March. He still faces the death penalty for the murders of Lori's children and his wife, Tammy Daybell. But while he may not be making an appearance here at the Ada County Courthouse, many other witnesses are. And today, the jury learned more about the alleged murder of Lori's fourth husband, Charles Vallow, in Arizona on July 11, 2019. Specifically, how detectives tracked Lori's odd movements after the shooting. Instead of calling 911, she goes to Burger King, Walgreens, drops her son off at school, all before her brother calls 911, and she returns to the scene. Detectives describe her as calm, non-emotional, at one point laughing, as seen here on body cam video.
We just moved in here.
Gotcha. How long have you guys lived here?
I'm sorry?
How long have you lived here?
Like 3 weeks.
Oh, geez. Yeah, okay.
That's why the neighbors don't know us.
Gotcha.
Like, hi neighbor, sorry.
And the day ended with another former friend of the defendant, April Raymond, telling the jury about Lori's odd spiritual beliefs she told her in 2019. For now, I'm Chanley Painter reporting in Boise, Idaho, Court TV.
In national news, intelligence officials were on Capitol Hill today learning just how much damage was done when classified documents were recently posted in a gamer chat room and then leaked across the internet.
The 21-year-old suspect, who is still in custody, made a brief court appearance today. Fox's Caroline Shively has that story.
Members of Congress met with the nation's top security officials Wednesday, demanding answers on how secret military documents could have leaked online, allegedly by a 21-year-old Air National Guardsman.
Congress is going to keep the pressure on the Pentagon to come back with more precise, substantive, and proactive measures.
Jack Teixeira is charged with the unauthorized removal and retention of classified and national defense information. Prosecutors say Teixeira copied and photographed the classified documents at his job with the Air National Guard 102nd Intelligence Wing in Massachusetts, then posted them online beginning in December, where they sat undetected by the Pentagon for months.
It's stunning that the Department of Defense and the intelligence agencies found out about it primarily from the press is unacceptable.
The leaked documents made public some of the nation's most closely held military secrets, including Ukrainian battlefield positions and U.S. military vulnerabilities to a cyber attack. The top members of the Senate Intelligence Committee call the leak proof of serious deficiencies in the government's security protocols.
We need, frankly, a system that limits classification to really important documents and then have a process to declassify when appropriate. And we are working on bipartisan legislation on that.
Teixeira's next court appointment is set for 2 weeks from now. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The abortion pill mifepristone will continue to be available at least until Friday. The U.S. Supreme Court continued the temporary hold on a lower court ruling reversing the FDA's approval to give them a little more time to decide this case. The Friday ruling would have implications for both mifepristone as well as the FDA's authority.
We want to hear from you. Do you think the abortion pill mifepristone should be accessible or banned? To weigh in, scan that QR code on your screen. It will take you to fox13now.com/voice. The results of this non-scientific poll are in real time. Those are the current results.
The CDC has signed off on new recommendations for COVID vaccines. This allows older patients, older adults, and people with weak immune systems to get a second dose of the bivalent Omicron-targeted booster. The FDA approved it yesterday. The update also no longer recommends the original COVID shot in the U.S. The CDC says bivalent shots from both Moderna and Pfizer provide protection on more COVID strains.
More than 3 years after filing for bankruptcy, the Boy Scouts of America's Chapter 11 plan officially became effective today. That means victims of sexual abuse will begin seeing payments. The bankruptcy plan includes $2.4 billion to resolve more than 82,000 claims. It is the largest ever compensation fund for victims of childhood sex abuse.
Have you had a Facebook account at any time since May 2007? Well, it turns out you could get some money from Meta. Facebook's parent company reached a $725 million settlement after allowing political consulting firm Cambridge Analytica to access their user data, which then got passed on to the Trump campaign for president in 2016. To file for your share of the settlement, go to facebookuserprivacysettlement.com.
Overall weather, I can't talk all of a sudden. The weather was calm here today in Utah. Got tongue-tied. This is a good thing, though, for flights heading to Denver. The spokesperson for the Salt Lake City International Airport tells Fox 13 News 3 international flights and 11 domestic flights heading to Denver. They all had to be diverted to Salt Lake City this afternoon.
Oh, what a shame.
To high winds. So
high winds in Denver.
Yes, and so we got some really big airplanes here that we typically wouldn't be able to get here.
Well, and some other folks who showed up here, you know, on those airplanes who got a little taste of Utah for a day. On a beautiful
My
day,
personal opinion, Salt Lake is better than Denver, but that's just my personal opinion. As we look here across the state, but we want to keep that in the DL. We'd like to keep that secret. We're a special little place here. Deer Valley, Bald Mountain right now. This is facing down towards Jordan now. I just had to share this picture with you guys because it's so stunning. We've got a clear and crisp, cool night out there, and we are going to have some very cold temperatures into eastern Utah with sensitive vegetation. Typically mid-April, things start to get a little bit warmer, so that cutoff is typically about April 15th. That's why these hard freeze warnings have been posted. This is down towards Hanksville. This is going to be through 10 a.m. And then freeze warnings issued for Moab, Arches National Park, and down towards the Four Corners tonight and again tomorrow night because of cold temps. So right now here across the state, we're going to be about 40 degrees over the next hour or so. We'll drop into the 30s here pretty quickly. Temperatures in Bryce Canyon currently 29, but you are going to be marching to the single digits very, very quickly. That was the phrase that the National Weather Service used in their afternoon area forecast discussion, and I thought that was a really accurate way to depict how these temperatures are going to be just quickly free falling here across the state under clear sky. Now, we do have some additional clouds expected to move into northern Utah tonight, bringing us a chance for some late snow. So that means we could see some slick spots for the morning drive tomorrow. Not talking about a ton of shoveling, but potentially just some slick areas out on the roads after a cool day and cool evening that could stick to the surfaces pretty quickly. So there is a chance that your morning drive tomorrow is a little slow. Throughout the day tomorrow, partly cloudy, breezy. Another storm moves in on Friday, and another late in the weekend into early next week. So our active weather will be continuing. For Ogden, you're this yellow line on your precipitation chances. Once you get to about 2-3 a.m., you're looking at some scattered snow chances through about 6 o'clock in the morning. And then for Salt Lake, overnight into the morning drive tomorrow through about midday, we're looking at widely scattered to scattered snow chances here in Salt Lake. So we could have areas of snow for the morning drive tomorrow for the Wasatch Front, less likely in Utah County. 47 for the evening drive tomorrow along the Wasatch Front, with just a series of storms here across the region over the next couple of days. Another one moves in late weekend into Monday. So under mostly clear sky right now, very cold temperatures expected this evening. Will be in the 20s and 30s for much of the state, but single digits for our more susceptible valleys, like down towards Bryce Canyon. 70 tomorrow in St. George, close to 80 on Friday. Still some more snowmelt concerns, but we're going to pull off those temps for low 80s on Sunday and Monday. For the Wasatch Front, 48 tomorrow, scattered snow and breezy. Widespread rain Friday, chances into Saturday and early next week. More on that coming up.
Thanks, Allison. Straight ahead, a Utah man is dead after snow slides off a roof and buries him. What happened and what to know to stay safe amid our massive snowpack.
Plus, we'll check on falling home prices, how much they're down compared to last year in cities in Utah.
And Intermountain Medical Center in Murray is getting national recognition. We'll explain why when we return.
Higher interest rates are pushing home prices lower. Real estate services company Redfin says home prices in March declined the most in 11 years. The median U.S. home price dropped more than 3% to $400,258, the largest decline in 11 years. Prices in Salt Lake City dropped 8.5% to $540,000. Provo prices plunged almost 16% to $405,000. Ogden was down 7.7% to $368,000, and St. George home prices dropped 16.1% to $474,000. Redfin also says new listings declined more than 23% in March.
Intermountain Medical Center in Murray has been named one of the top 50 cardiovascular hospitals in the country by Fortune magazine and Pink AI for the third year in a row now. This year, Intermountain Medical Center was ranked as the 10th leading teaching heart hospital in Fortune's study. Intermountain Medical Center was highly rated for treatment of heart attacks, heart failure, and coronary bypass care. More than 900 hospitals in the U.S. were examined for this study.
A man in Brighton died after snow on his roof fell on top of him. Coming up, more on the tragedy and what homeowners should know this spring.
The house that was here on the north wall collapsed, and they had to put 2x4s to hold it from caving into the basement.
One neighborhood recalls the landslide that changed everything.
While you're at home barely waking up to start your day, crews are in this freezing cold water clearing out City Creek to prevent flooding. What you need to know if you live nearby.
A Holiday man is dead after police say he tried to clear snow off his cabin roof in Brighton, triggering a roof avalanche that buried him.
Fox 13 News reporter Lucy Nelson has the story of what homeowners can learn from this tragic accident.
Towering walls of snow border South Brighton Loop Road.
I mean, several feet of snow still on people's roofs.
Sergeant Melody Cutler with Unified Police says they have responded to numerous roof collapses.
So I think there is some concern with homeowners that they need to get that snow off their roof.
It's likely what was on Holiday local 50-year-old Ryan Peterson's mind when he checked on his cabin Monday afternoon.
What we believe happened is that he had gone up there in the afternoon and had climbed on his roof, we think in an attempt to clear some of that snow off of that roof, and when that avalanche from the roof occurred, carrying him down with it. Really, really tragic accident.
Unified Police received a call at around 7:30 Tuesday morning from family asking for a welfare check, and that's when they found Ryan dead in the snow.
His car was there. So they began looking through the cabin, and then they started looking outside, which is where they found him in the snow.
It happened down the road here. Sergeant Cutler saying this is yet another tragedy in this unprecedented winter and now spring.
I think a lot of things that we've had this year with the snow are uncommon. So it's not something we see often.
With a seemingly long road ahead of us when it comes to weather, Sergeant Cutler has some tips for homeowners when clearing snow off their roofs.
Number one recommendation is hire a professional to do it. They have the proper equipment, they have rigging, etc. If you are going to do it on your own, don't do it alone, and don't climb on your roof.
In Brighton, Lucy Nelson, Fox 13 News, Utah.
We have seen destructive landslides across the state in Mountain Green, Kaysville, Fruit Heights, and other areas this spring. And now state geologists are worried more could be coming as the heavy snowpack continues to melt.
Fox 13 News reporter Darian DeBrule has the story of a neighborhood that knows firsthand how a landslide can change everything.
It's been over a decade since Larry Tanner watched his neighbors' homes get torn down due to damage from the infamous Spring Hill landslide.
The house that was here on the north wall collapsed, and they had to put 2x4s to hold it from caving into the basement. I think that was the second house that was taken down. And then the FEMA came in, and they just decided to wipe them all out.
Tanner's home is still standing, but not without its damage.
You can see my back fence way down at the bottom of the hill now. It's dropped like crazy. You can see the cracks, the driveway is dropping down, and the mailman doesn't mind it. He comes by and he'll pull right up next to it and he'll lean over and put it in.
It's been decades since the original landslide, but even after all this time, Tanner and state geologist Bill Keach say the land is still moving.
And the street and everything is moving to the north. North Salt Lake give up on the area. They will not fix the curb and gutter because it'll just happen again.
A lot of the landslides are not what people think. They're not things that bump down the hill in a big giant mass. They move a few inches or a few feet every year.
Keach says to avoid losing more neighborhoods like Spring Hill, home builders have to know the land.
If I was going to be a builder or a home builder, I'd want to make sure that I understood the geology. So some places are much more prone, based on the geology, to be more prone to landslides. And so those are the things you got to be careful of.
I would rather have the houses back and the people back, but I've got used to it.
In North Salt Lake, Darian DeBrule, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Last June, Fox 13 News got to go along with a Utah honor flight as a group of World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam veterans visited our nation's capital. We're sad to report tonight that one of those heroes, Bert Casper, passed away this morning at the age of 79. Bert joined the Army at Fort Douglas in Salt Lake City in 1963. He was stationed in Germany, Korea, and Vietnam. He was honorably discharged in 1970 and is survived by his wife Janice, 2 daughters, 1 son, and 9 grandchildren. Among his many medals, Staff Sergeant Bert Casper was awarded the Bronze Star for his outstanding leadership, exemplary professionalism, dedication, and effectiveness.
What a legacy. Tomorrow, many Utah schools and communities will drop, cover, and hold on as part of the annual Great Utah Shakeout. It is the state's largest earthquake drill, set to take place at 10:15 a.m. tomorrow morning. The Department of Emergency Management organizes it to remind us that Utah is earthquake country, and the big one could hit the state at any moment. To learn more, go to shakeout.org/Utah. We have an update now on how the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is providing relief to victims of that devastating earthquake in Turkey and Syria 2 months ago now.
Elder Ronald A. Rasband of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles visited missionaries in Munich, Germany earlier this week to lead them in assembling more than 2,500 hygiene kits. The kits were then delivered to the Turkish consulate so they could be sent to where they're needed most.
It all goes back to our belief in caring for Heavenly Father's children, following the first 2 commandments. We love God and we love our fellow men, and this is a way that we can show that.
In total, the church has contributed $13.5 million worth of money and goods to this relief effort.
Coming up, crews are working to clear out debris in City Creek to try and prevent flooding. What you need to know if you live in that area.
Temperatures remain below average again tomorrow. 62 a normal high this time of year. Today we only made it to 48 degrees. Chances for snow for the morning drive and also several more storms on the way. What to expect coming up.
If you were in City Creek Canyon today, you would have seen multiple crews hauling out debris that could cause flooding.
Yeah, that's hard work, necessary work right now. Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser shows us the extensive cleanup process.
With chainsaws, winches, and just pure strength, crews throughout City Creek Canyon are clearing out sticks, logs, and anything that could easily clog and cause flooding.
As long as conditions allow and as long as we can get the debris out of here, we'll be working.
They have to cut and haul up tree trunks as big as these, but in order to do their job, the conditions have to be just right. They had to wrap up earlier than they would have liked to on Tuesday because of the weather.
We are worried about the slipperiness of the creeks. We are worried about the water. Yesterday we had a rainstorm and the water rose a little bit.
Workers are wading through chilly water to stop the streets near Memory Grove Park from looking like this. A neighbor's photo album shows what the area looked like during the floods of '83. Homeowners already have sandbags in line.
We just decided we should get these before it got too late.
Catherine Seiler is appreciative of all the departments and divisions protecting her home.
They were all working so hard, and there were like, I don't know, 8 people in the creek pulling out dead logs.
People that don't even do this regularly. Water samplers, normal employees, and volunteers with public utilities and parks and public lands putting in the long, early hours.
When you came in the morning just to do your normal job, they looked exhausted. They'd been working all night. And the storm drain crews and the engineers and the people out running the track hose are kind of the unsung heroes.
In City Creek Canyon, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Still ahead, Earth Day is this Saturday, and it may be your chance to use your green thumb while supporting a nonprofit where you can buy some plants for a purpose this weekend.
Plus, is the truth out there? Ooh. For the second time in 50 years, U.S. lawmakers discussed UFOs. What the head of the Pentagon's new UFO office had to say. Morgan.
Of course they did.
Yeah, and a little less spooky. Later in sports, a week out from the NFL draft, one draft expert sees amazing things in store for one Ute. Plus, playoff time for both the Utah Grizzlies and BYU volleyball. Those highlights in a bit.
Wide open and in.
Welcome back, everyone. Utahns attended an annual flag retirement ceremony in American Fork today. It was hosted by the American Legion Post 49 Honor Guard, along with others. Attendees not only saw them retire multiple U.S. flags, but learned why we do it this way.
We've done this for several years where we get all these American flags and we put them to rest. We don't actually call burning them, but we put them to rest. We're going to post the colors. We're going to have our chaplain give the opening prayer. Then we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, the national anthem. And then we're going to have our honor guard fire the M1s and play taps. And then we've got a special thing that we read prior to unfurling and burning the flags that we do tonight. And to me, it's a very spiritual, patriotic event.
Yeah, that is such a special ceremony. Commander Hall continued to say these events are important because of what these flags stand for, the defense of our country. There are only 2 groups authorized to retire the American flag, the Boy Scouts of America and the United States military.
How poignant. Southern Utah residents who want to get into gardening this Earth Day will want to plan for this weekend. The Youth Garden Project will hold its annual one-day plant sale in Moab this Saturday. Gardeners young and old can buy varieties of plants, including vegetables and flowers, to raise funds for the nonprofit. It provides programs for students in the Grand County School District to learn gardening, greenhouse management, cooking, and other skills.
Right now, we're growing over 4,000 little baby plants. Actually, I have a visual aid here. This is little cabbage. And we're going to be selling 4,000 of those to community members throughout the morning on Saturday.
The sale runs in person from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the garden at 530 South, 400 East in Moab, with an online sale the following Sunday starting at 8 a.m. Kel?
All right, get this. Maybe cue the X-Files music here. The head of the Pentagon's UFO office answered to lawmakers today, wanting to know more about unidentified flying objects and what the Defense Department's newly established All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office is doing about them.
All domain.
Yep, the hearing's sole witness, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, raised eyebrows last month after co-authoring an academic paper claiming a, quote, parent craft may be probing planet Earth, theorizing extraterrestrials may be drawn to Earth's water.
AARO has found no credible evidence thus far of extraterrestrial activity, off-world technology, or objects that defy the known laws of physics. The majority of unidentified objects reported to AARO demonstrate mundane characteristics of balloons, unmanned aerial systems, clutter, natural phenomena, or other readily explainable sources.
But are they really mundane? Bob, Robert?
Yeah, no, extraordinary.
This really is interesting. The hearing comes as lawmakers debate the president's budget proposal, with some arguing funds for the Pentagon's UFO office are still far too low and is an issue of national security.
I don't know, you know, with the vastness of space, for us to think we're the only things, the only living beings out of the gazillions of places to live in this vast expanse. I'm sorry. No, we're not alone. The truth is out there somewhere, Allison.
Maybe we'll find the truth soon. Sounds like an interesting committee.
I hope they're friendly when they come.
It's when
we'll give them a drink of water.
When we can start vacationing on Mars, the truth will come out.
Yeah.
The resorts will already be there, just waiting for us.
Disney will be the first ones, right?
And then there'll be a Trump hotel.
Well, all right, we've got some cold temperatures here across state in the forecast for this evening. Temperatures right now about 40 degrees for Provo, Salt Lake, and Ogden, 30s for the Cache Valley, 41 for Moab. 29 in Bryce Canyon, but we're expecting single digits in Bryce Canyon tonight. Temperatures close to 10 degrees in Park City when you wake up tomorrow morning. Up at the Cottonwood Canyons, close to 0 tomorrow morning. So we're gonna have a chilly start here across the state. Dry here across Utah right now. We do have some chances for precipitation to become scattered after about 2-3 a.m. around sunrise. We've got some chances for snow here across northern Utah. Pretty minimal as far as how much snowfall we can expect. We have no weather headlines that have been issued with this incoming storm. Quick moving, pretty weak storm. And we'll get to the snow totals in just a second. Throughout the day tomorrow, we also have that chance through the afternoon to see some areas of snowfall. Another system moves in on Friday. We have some more areas of mountain snowfall and potentially some rain as well with that one. So for Ogden tomorrow, widely scattered. Friday is your better chance, widespread. And then heading into late Sunday into early next week, some more chances. For Provo, your chance of precipitation isolated for tomorrow. Friday, widely scattered, Friday night. And then again, Sunday into next week, Sunday night into next week. And for St. George, your chance of precipitation is really low throughout the 7-day forecast. So from now until tomorrow at 2 p.m., we're talking about potentially small amount of snow here in the Salt Lake Valley on and off through the northern Wasatch Front. Could see likely less than an inch. That is what our most likely scenario is if you see snowfall. 1 to 3 inches for the mountains potentially. We could get closer to 4, 5, 6 inches in the Cottonwood Canyons. But as I mentioned, no winter headlines have been issued with this incoming storm. St. George 70 tomorrow, 78 on Friday, close to low 80s Sunday, Monday, and then into early next week. Of course, we'll have some snow melt concerns with consistent temperatures close to 80 or in the 80s. For the Wasatch Front, scattered snow and breezy for tomorrow, Friday. Widespread rain, especially in the evening. Saturday, chance for some scattered rain, widely scattered into Monday. So as we break down our chances here in Salt Lake, what we're going to be watching into early next week will just continue to be an active pattern with looking like Friday is actually going to be our best chance. And then after our 7-day forecast, our week 2 temperature outlook, above average temperatures will be continuing. And for perspective, 62 degrees is a normal high this time of year. So we're below average for a few more days.
The Utah Grizzlies faced rival Idaho 18 times this past season, but of those 18, they only won 4 of them, setting forth a tough test in their first-round series as the ECHL postseason broke open in Boise tonight. Go to Game 1, where they actually play for a reason, scoreless with the Steelheads for the first 24 minutes. Dakota Raby with the rebound poke for the Utah lead in the second. And then watch this follow-up goal to start the third. The puck slides off the top of the post where Kyle Betts was right there to put it away. Call it a 3-0 shutout and a big steal for the Grizz. Game 2 remains in Idaho on Friday. BYU volleyball in the postseason, round 1 of the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation quarterfinals. The Capuno Brown kill wraps up the second set for Blue to even things up with Concordia Irvine, and the Y with 10 aces in this one as well. 5 by the freshman Trent Mosier. They take it 3-1 and play again on Friday. A Utah County battle on the diamond. UVU leading most of it before the Lady Cougs scored 3 in the 7th. Jalen Lambert across on a fielder's choice for the lead. The Wolverines down 2 in the 7th, but get one back right here. Solo shot, Jaden Baraha. Still a run short, though, when the final batter pops out. Brigham Young holds on 6-5 in Orem. The Bees hosting a matinee, not to mention trying to snap a 4-game slide. Salt Lake with 1 in the 2nd against Reno. Jordan Adams lining home Kevin Padlow. That 1-0 lead held all the way till the top half of the 7th. Seth Beer pelts a souvenir. The Aces getting 5 in the 7th, 2 more coming in the 9th to give them the 7-1 win. 5 straight losses for the Bees now as they drop below 500 for the first time all year. A week from tomorrow, the NFL Draft fires up in Kansas City, where a couple of Utes should hear their names called by day 2, maybe even day 1. There's Utah All-American corner Clark Phillips III, and then you've got the tight end Dalton Kincaid, whose stock has been rising by the week ever since he arrived up on the hill a few years ago. But that rise is amped up even more lately, where Kincaid could easily see his name taken off the board in round 1. I spoke with former NFL linebacker and draft analyst KJ Wright about Kincaid's potential.
Just watching him, you could just tell, like when I look at his NFL comparison, the first person to come to mind is George Kittle. And just, 6'4", 250 plus pounds. Any ball that comes in his vicinity, he is high pointing that football and just making defenses look silly. And so he's real savvy in the way that he runs his route, can stretch the field vertically, and phenomenal player. I think he led the tight ends with catches, nearly 1,000 yards. He's going to be a really good pro, and I believe late first, early second, he's gonna get his phone call.
In NBA playoffs, where the Grizzlies needed Game 2 more than the Lakers did. Watch this block by shooting guard John Conchar on Anthony Davis. 5 inches shorter than AD. Memphis up 15 at the half. Xavier Tillman with 22, and the Grizz take it by 10 to even up the series at 1, all without Ja Morant sidelined with a sore hand. We're right back.
Thanks for being part of Fox 13 News at 9.
Hope you can stick around for Quick Cast. That's up next.